They're everywhere. There's sensors everywhere. Surveillance in the United States has already imprisoned us.
It means a totalitarian system, a system of concentration at the top and the people being at the bottom being ruled from above. Not that the people have any voice in determining the direction of their government or the world, but they are to be told what the direction is, and they're to be told to follow it.
Why do we call Greenland Greenland? Why? Because in the year 1000, when the Vikings were there, it was green and lush, and that was a period of global warming. And then we went into a period of global warming until about 1600. This global warming is a scare.
When you read these plans,
Germany and so forth. And now the big move among these people is to coalesce into a true international elite, whereby they will be operating through the governmental power of the United Nations. Now they really have clout, because there's no nation in the world that can escape their power, because the way these people work is that if they want to accomplish something, if they have an agenda, let's just pick one at random, a disarmament or another one, population control or something like that. As it is now, they have to convince each of the respective nations and their governments to implement those agendas. But once you have a true United Nations with a true governmental power, with real military forces, and once you have turned over to these agencies of international power control over your armies and over your air force and over your weapons of mass destruction, you have created a global government which cannot be challenged by any nation whatsoever. So now these international elites do not have to worry about convincing the governments in each part of the world. As long as they control the center of this power, which is the United Nations, they therefore can control the world.
It's Davos time.
Behind the biblical God and the devil, or heaven and hell, the two Bibles, as above, so below. And this is exactly why, when you look up the definition of parable and the etymology, it tells you it comes from balin, to throw. And of course, it says to look up the word devil, because parable is related to the devil, which is the diabolus, or the bull devil. And that's exactly why the same etymology for the word devil is the same for parable. And this is exactly why the Bible tells you that Satan, the devil, was cast down or thrown from heaven, the fallen one, the deceiver, because he is the demon of death, the devil of decline.
So it's our job to educate them to ensure they don't get deceived by these devils like Truthiracy.
You are
like
so
Truthiracy,
funny.
you know what I'm saying?
You actually crack me up, man. Aaron, or woe unto the dumbites, listen, you are one fool who has completely missed the truth and the wisdom of the Bible. You are the one, son, who doesn't understand one grain of truth of what the Bible is actually talking about. And you have the audacity and the ignorance to assume that I don't understand and that I'm the devil, sacred bull, or the bullshitter. So, the lyre or the lyre was invented by Zeus's son, God's son, called Hermes or Mercury. Hermes Trismegistus, who gives us the Hermetic maxim, as above, so below. So Hermes is the messenger of the gods, the god of the underworld, fertility. He's the trickster, the liar, the thief, and the robber, and the one who invented language and speech. He is also known as a cattle driver or a herdsman. And the creation of the lyre begins with baby Hermes on his first day of life as an infant, with Apollo and the cattle and Zeus. So on the very first day that Hermes was born, the infant little baby child wanted some meat from the cow. So he found a turtle and made a lyre from it, along with the hide of the cattle, the skin of the cow. And this animal skin of the cowhide is known as the biblical nevel. And today we call this cowhide leather. And when you look at a lyre, you can clearly see it's shaped like the bull. And I will clearly quote from Wikipedia. According to ancient Greek mythology, the young god Hermes created the lyre from a slaughtered cow from Apollo's sacred herd, using the intestines for the strings. But before I continue, let's go over the lyre that was created from the turtle or the tortoise shell. First of all, the turtle's head is very phallic in nature. It resembles a penis. It would shrivel and shrink in, and you can see the skin even looks like a penis. And then when it extends and gets hard and erect, it looks like the male erection. Thus, Hermes is the god of fertility and sexuality, which gives us the herma. And of course, the bull is the symbol of fertility. So the turtle comes from the tortoise, which comes from the Taurus bull. And of course, a turtle is a reptile. So the Taurus turtle is an infernal animal, a diabolical creature that comes from the underworld and is associated with hell, thus Tartarus, which is the diabolical home of the devil or the bull. And of course, the sacred bull or the minotaur is also associated with the underworld or the sacred hell of the labyrinth. So the lyre or the lyra has two raised arms or a yoke, which is associated again with the bull, which is in the shape of a U or the or the lyre bullhorns, which is associated with the bullhorns of the moon, the crescent moon, the curve or the bow of the moon, which is why we have the Ark of the Covenant, which is the bow of the moon or the bowl of the moon, which is like what I said before, that the bowl of the moon gives us the bowl, which is the arc or the bow of the moon, the bowl. So the shape of the moon or the crescent of the moon is what gives us our word bow, as in a bow and arrow. And the arrow is the light beams shooting down to earth, the symbology of the goddess and the bow, or Apollo and his bow shooting sun rays down. So the bow of the moon, or the bow and arrow, gives us our bow instruments, like the harp or the lyre.